A lot of times, people tend to focus on Jesus' call to love and peace, and big rosy picture of being kind to everyone. The actuality of having to live is called to witness in our broken world tends to be glossed over. Jesus himself says in Matthew 10:34-36, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace upon earth. I have come to bring not peace, but the sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And one's enemies will be those of his household." Even in our own families, it can be really hard to agree on simple things, like whose turn it is to do the dishes, or what we should watch on TV. How can we be peacemakers if it's so hard to agree with people on simple day-to-day questions, let alone on such big issues as who God is and what's the difference between right and wrong? There's an important distinction to make here. Peacefulness is not the same thing as indifference. If your friend is talking down about someone in your class for no reason, and you know that she should be doing this, but you don't say anything and just go along with the flow, you may have avoided a difficult conversation, but you just lost an opportunity to bring Christ's peace into their lives. Of course, you should be prudent in your choice of words, but by advocating for what is right, you can inspire people to change. This is where persecution comes in. Most people don't like being corrected or confronted with a conflicting opinion. Doing the same right thing is going to annoy people, and even make some people mad, but we are called to do it in spite of that. Maybe you lose a friend by saying what you believe, or calling someone out when they gossip or speak out of anger. But is it worth it to lose Christ? In the Catechism, it says, "Martyrdom is the supreme witness given to the truth of the faith." It means bearing witness unto death. Christ should be first in our hearts, even when that requires sacrifices and confronting difficult situations that might result in backlash from others. One guy who really took this to heart was St. Oscar Romero. He was a bishop in El Salvador during the Salvadoran Civil War between the existing military government and a left-wing guerrilla force backed by Fidel Castro's regime in Cuba. The war lasted from 1979 to 1992, and during this time, around 75,000 people lost their lives, and another 8,000 were kidnapped or disappeared. Many of these people were brutally murdered and tortured by both the rebel and government forces. Semi-autonomous death squads equipped by the military government kidnap and murder any civilians suspected of even sympathizing with the guerrilla forces. When church leaders spoke out against this violence, the government responded by murdering priests, nuns, and seminarians. In spite of all this, Oscar Romero incessantly gave speeches, wrote letters, and spoke up to anyone who would listen, condemning this unnecessary violence against his people. One day, after he gave a speech denouncing the military and death squad actions, he was celebrating Mass in the hospital chapel. A car drove up, and a man got out and shot as he stood before the altar. Now, we don't necessarily all have to deal with things like a brutal civil war or dying for faith, but we are called to have that same commitment to following Christ. As a brief personal example, my friends and I would pray the Free Rosary outside of the abortion clinic in downtown Raleigh on Saturday mornings. The atmosphere is usually pretty intense. There are volunteers at the clinic who try to rush people in without letting them stop and talk to the people who stand on the street corner and hand out grades and resource information. I've been flipped off and that. But I still go because praying for the mothers and their babies and the people who work at volunteer there is important. These people all desperately need Jesus and his love and peace in their lives. In the Beatitudes, we are called not just to make peace, but God's peace. Remember the readings from last weekend? It was the solemnity of Jesus Christ the King. Jesus came to conquer this world and our hearts. When we give our will and actions over to him, we allow his peace into our lives, and we act as his children. Think of the debates and arguments that you might have this week. Maybe someone on your sports team tends to make inappropriate jokes about the religion of people. Or maybe you had an argument with your sibling or friends, and neither of you was trying to reconcile. Maybe you just disagree with your parents on what chores you have to do. I challenge you to calmly confront those situations, not just to work it out. Stand up for what you believe is right, and admit where you've gone wrong. Allow Jesus to conquer your heart, and He will bring His peace into your life. The Beatitudes all come back to this point. Jesus asks us to welcome Him as the King of our hearts, by being poor in spirit, mourning for the brokenness of our world, practicing meekness and mercy, thirsting for righteousness and keeping our hearts pure, and bringing peace to those around us. Jesus' kingdom is one of action. As you are thinking about being confirmed or living out your confirmation, ask yourself, do my day-to-day thoughts belong to Christ? Do my words and actions belong to Him? What can I improve on to bring myself and others closer